excited. And tour registration is open. You can look on the website at californiaswanfestival.org if you would like more detailed information about all the events and activities. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, any additional public comment?
We do have two virtual ones. Dr. Gretchen Flores first. Let me unmute her.
Dr. Fleur, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity to speak at the Yuba Water Agency board meeting. I wanted to bring to the board's attention the conduct and behavior of one of your board members. I'm not sure if the activities of Mr. John Messick are sanctioned by the Yuba Water Agency, or if his behaviors and actions and words are directed by the Yuba Water Agency. I certainly hope not. Mr. Messick has been publicly smearing members of the public through social media and attacking members of the public who are simply expressing their First Amendment rights. And this is not something that is a good look for the Yuba Water Agency, nor is it a good look for Mr. Messick either. It rather smacks of abuse of power of an elected official to use social media to smear members of the public who, by the way, voted for him. Mr. Messick is also extremely involved to the point of being almost glued to the hip with Marika Fernay, the chairman of the board of the North Yuba Water District, to the level of showing up at every single North Yuba Water District meeting to defend her honor, showing up at meetings with Ms. Fernay, at South Feather Water and Power Agency. And lastly, and what's very, very concerning is Mr. Messick seems to be privy to information that's only been disclosed in closed sessions of the North Yuba Water District. The public is very concerned and disturbed that Mr. Messick seems to be privy to information that they themselves are not privy to, and is using this information to speak to the public at North Yuba Water District. I wanted to bring this to the Yuba Water Agency Board's attention and find out if this is behaviors and actions that are sanctioned and directed by the Yuba Water Agency, or is Mr. Messick simply going rogue and acting on his own? I would urge the board to look into this matter and try to curb his behaviors. Again, it's not a good look for the Yuba Water Agency. The Yuba Water Agency as a whole has done a very good job in the last couple of years. I've been very heartened by seeing what your board is doing now. And this behavior is just dragging this board and this agency down. No one should be involved in another agency to that degree. So I urge you to look into it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Fleur.
Todd Hickman is next. I'll unmute him.
Mr. Hickman, good morning.
Yes, Todd Hickman. I'd like to introduce myself. I spoke at last month's meeting, and Mr. Messick tried to reduce me to a rabble-rouser. I want to assure you I'm not just a rabble-rouser. I come to you as a voice of experience. I am a combat veteran. I am a small business owner. I am a retired government regulator. Also, I made my fortune on myself, first generation, not inherited it from my parents or grandparents. So to hear Mr. Messick talk badly about me and try and reduce me to a rabble-rouser is just completely absurd. Again, I come to you with a voice of experience, and what you heard from Dr. Gretchen Fleur is correct. I witnessed Mr. Messick's behavior. His relationship with the president of North Yuba Water District is completely inappropriate. They appear to be joined at the hip. They appear to conspire and engage in social media smears of the public. Again, this behavior is completely inappropriate on Mr. Messick's behalf. He continually spews facts and lies that are not correct. Additionally, like Dr. Gretchen Fleur said, we see him at every North Yuba Water meeting. We see him constantly defend Ms. Vernay. The Yuba Water Agency has a real problem with this rogue behavior. Let's not forget, too, that the Yuba Water Agency has been the enabler of North Yuba. Your own manager admitted last month that he never did any oversight on the Orleave Creek project. That is a complete disaster. That is shameful. That is not up to any kind of engineering standards. And yet the Yuba Water Agency continues to fund and appears to support the North Yuba Water District in all these endeavors, and this waste of public funds, waste, fraud, and abuse. The list goes on and on. I find it particularly ironic this morning that your meeting that follows this at 10 o'clock is related to good governance and high efficiency, highly efficient running boards, which your board appears to be not with this rogue behavior. So again, I would completely back up the comments of Dr. Gretchen Floor, and I would urge you to get Mr. Messick under control. He appears to be operating under the guise of having the backing of the Yuba Water Agency. And from what I know of the other 6 members on this board, I don't think you want your reputation smeared and drugged down by his behaviors. So it is time to get him under control. It's time to, give him proper direction. He appears to be completely lost and completely caught up in his personal relationship with the president of the North Yuba Water District, and he appears to be, again, lost. Sometimes when you're caught up in something so close and you're involved in such a relationship.
You can please end your comment, Mr. Hickman. The 3 minutes are up.
The forest through the trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? I don't see any in the room. Okay. With that, we will move on to consent items. There's 3 items as listed on the agenda. Any board comment or questions on consent?
Move to approve.
Okay, have a first. Second. Okay, a first and a second. Any public comment on the consent agenda? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next is item 4, receive update from Browns Valley Irrigation District's General Manager regarding the Sicard Flat Pipeline Upgrade Project. Good morning, Kelly.
Wow. Did it make the turn?
Good morning. Thank you for having us here. It's Kelly McNally, Browns Valley Irrigation District, and this is our Sicard Flat Pipeline Upgrade Project. So background, we're replacing nearly 10 miles of open ditch with high-density polyethylene HDPE pipe. So that's fusion pipe. Estimated annual water savings of approximately 3,000 acre-feet of water, which was equivalent to 6% of the usable storage in Collins Lake in 3 weeks of our water season. The HDPE pipe varies in size from 30-inch in diameter to 8-inch. Funding of the project includes $2 million. It's a WaterSmart grant from U.S. Bureau of Reclamation and also $2 million from Yuba Water. Construction is being completed in-house by BVID staff. Project construction is expected to be completed in 4 phases and occur over the next 3 to 5 years. So this is the alignment. Right up top is the pipe section. We are currently on phase 1, and we will be moving down to phase 2 and then back up to phase 3. Phase 3 happens to be mostly or all on university property. So that's one of our bigger customers in the district, probably our biggest customer in the district. And then we go down to phase 4, 1.5 miles. It's probably the smallest of all of our sections. And so here's some of the photos. And so just to kind of give you a hint, or an idea of how we've been doing this, loading up trucks and trucking that pipe. They're in 40-inch sections all the way up to one of the far reaches of the district. And so if you've been up to the university property, that's where we're taking all the pipe. This is one of the first pictures, the one on the right, of the project when we started putting it in back in, I believe, May. And so that pipe is going directly into the ditch. And then there's another shot of it looking from the other direction. the picture on the right is the fusion machine. And so it gets loaded into that cradle. It takes about 30 minutes to fuse that pipe together, and then the crew will pull it along. There's one of the pipes that's in the ditch right there, and it's going around. I believe that's the siphon right there. And coming along, you can see the view from there of how high up in the district we are. And then the one on the right is the newest part of the project that we've been doing. And that involved a lot of digging, and that was not on the current alignment. And so that one all had to be new excavation for us. You can see on the picture on the left, if you look closely, it goes all the way up the hill. There's water at that bottom of that picture. That is one of our leaks that we had to work around. So when we say that we were losing a lot of water from this project, we were losing a ton. And we've already saved 3 CFS just by putting in these first 2 miles of pipe. And so you can see on that second picture that we're digging straight up that mountain. And so elevation changes, it goes down the mountain, flattens out for a bit, and then goes all the way back up. There's no pumps in this. It's all a gravity fed system. So it's the water pushing it through to the rest of the district. And so here's the picture on the left is how the pipe kind of has to, shows how flexible that picture is and how we're using equipment to hold it up as it's going through the cradle on the fusion machine. And again, the lower right-hand corner of that picture, you can see the water coming through. Again, that is one of our leaks. That's not water that is supposed to be there. Same with the picture on the right. All of the water that you see in here is water that has been leaking through the Sicard ditch, and it's no longer leaking due to this pipeline. So again, all the way up the mountain on the one on the right, or sorry, on the one on the left, and then the one on the right is another view. And if you look closely, you can see across the valley, and you can see where we've dug, and you can see that little clear patch. That's where the pipe is entering up right now. And again, this is what it looks like now after we've dug through all of that. It kind of looks like a park because we've covered the pipe, it's buried in the ground, we've seeded it, getting ready for winter, and you can't even tell that we were there and that we have dug up the side of the mountain so much. And that is it. Do you have any questions for me?
Board have any questions?
Through the board? No, through the chair. Are there diversions out of the pipe somewhere along the line, or?
We can go back. So if you see on this, it's one large pipeline. And so along there will be 45 to 50 service connections, but not a diversion off of the pipeline. So that black line is our current alignment. And then all of the other colored lines are the lines that we are going to be piping here within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I think I was actually thinking about connections instead of diversions.
Yeah, there's about 45 to 50 connections right now. And so all of those are ditch connections. And so it's not pressurized service. And so we will be putting people onto a pressurized system, which means that the water gets throughout their property. They'll end up saving water instead of having a ditch service. So conservation, we've estimated 3,000 acre feet. It's probably more once you bring in how much people are going to conserve once they get a pressurized versus a gravity service.
Thank you.
That's great. Okay. Any additional board comments?
So Kelly, it looks really nice where you guys buried it back and seeded it. Is there going to be markings along there so people don't accidentally dig into it later?
Kevin, did we mark it?
Yes. Our office was not with that. We'll all be putting markers every time we because it is so remote.
Yeah.
Director Matthews?
When you're delivering water, do you have some pressure ability? If you put a meter on, does the water just come out of the meter, or does it come out under pressure?
Comes out under pressure. I believe once we connect to Highway 20, we're under 100 or 120 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, for fire resilience, people can buy water and hook it directly to sprinklers?
They can.
Green?
They can. It's not used for fire just because it's not always, it's seasonal. It's not on all the time. We run April through October. And so if there's anything that goes on outside of that time, but yes, people can definitely hook it to sprinklers and use it for those purposes.
So people buying water can easily make green areas. I'm very interested, or I think the agency is too, in fire resilience for all of North Yuba. This looks like a project that would very much benefit that idea.
Yes, that is correct. And so people can create defensible spaces with more greenery around their houses with having BBID water.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Kelly. Next up, manager's report.
Okay, good morning. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Bullard's Bar is at 667 or 600. Watch this. 687,000 acre feet at 71% capacity. The crew is up on the surface of the reservoir, gathering up the woody debris and getting it ready for to burn. And they got to wait for a burn window or burn days so they can get that debris burned. That's what's going on with the recreation part of the maintenance. Narrows 2 is out, like I reported at the last board meeting. So the mechanical and electrical crew are working on that outage, and it's planned to be back by the end of the month. You'll notice under the operations update, we're putting 600 cubic feet per second out of Narrows 1. And Director Matthews at the last board meeting said, hey, doesn't Narrows 1 have a capacity of 700? And I kind of explained why we were only at 400 then. But the fall irrigation demand went up like we expected. So we increased Narrows 1 to 600 CFS. So Director Matthews, I just wanted to explain to you that the plan has come to fruition there. Not much has changed with the weather and the El Nino conditions. We do have a high pressure system upon us now. It'll potentially be in the 90s the next couple of days in the valley. But I'm sure that will change in the next few weeks as we get into the late fall and winter months. And lastly, communications and community relations update. The Wired Magazine's feature about adapting water management for a changing climate, which featured John James in our implementation of forecast-informed reservoir operations, came out great. That came out last week. It was picked up by dozens of other outlets. The Appeal Democrat ran a story about the Food and Water Festival, which included a nice plug about Caitlin and Jim Blanky's groundwater workshop. The Appeal also did a story about the screening of California's watershed healing, which took place on the 11th at Yuba College. And that story was picked up by KFBK Radio as well. On October 10th, we had a very successful tour with folks from Beale Air Force Base, showing them Bullards and Colgate and just building our relationship with those, with the leadership at Beale. The following day, we had a large group tour with about 20 people from DWR, the Corps of Engineers, and Yuba County OES, which included a training on forecast coordinated operations. And this week, we will host the Northern California tour of the Water Education Foundation for lunch and a discussion about our projects. We will have our crane truck at Loma Rica Elementary for their Touch a Truck event. We will have a booth at the Yuba County Be Prepared Fair on Thursday. And we're sponsoring 530 Off-Road's Touch a Truck Trick or Treat event at the River Bottoms, Beale Con at Beale Air Force Base, and Pinktober at the Hard Rock Casino. All of those events are Saturday. And next week, we are sponsoring the Water Education Foundation's Water Summit, the one-day conference in Sacramento. And our next board meetings are a regular board meeting, ABP, and POD committee meetings on November 7th.
Great, thank you. Any board questions? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to director's reports. We'll start with Director Bishop today.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Director Matthews.
Yes, I have a disappointing thought. I've been associated with North Yuba Water District since the 70s when John Ruiz was there. I was thrilled when the new board was all pulling the boat in the same direction. I believe it's both my obligation and duty to be associated with people north of the Yuba River, as that's my my constituency, and I'm disappointed that two people used their time to criticize a fellow director who I was at the same meeting, and I didn't think anything he said was out of line. And I can't believe the two commentators earlier picked on that as an interference. I don't think it's an interference at all. I think it's our duty. And I want to compliment the people at North Yuba in the whole for pulling the boat in the same direction.
Thank you, Director Matthews. Director Messick?
Thank you, Charlie. I'll just let everybody know that the first person that spoke lives in Nevada County, and the second person that spoke lives in Butte County. So I will continue to support North Yuba and their current board and current manager. They're doing great work, and just keep them heading in the right direction. This Saturday is the Yuba County Search and Rescue Dinner at the 530 building. If anybody's interested in going and supporting them, I'll be there. The Aero Squadron bought a table. This will be a good event and for a good cause. So,
Great, thank you. Director Fuhr?
Nothing for myself, but I would like to echo what Charlie said in that I like passionate directors that are actively engaged. North Yuba Water had a history of trouble. There was problems. People asked us to get involved. Some people took up that standard and got involved, and things changed. We're hoping to see a flourishing and a benefit from that change. But the fact that we are engaged and doing the work, you can't please all the people all the time, I suppose, but at least let's agree that it was requested that we come to the rescue, and that's exactly what happened. So I appreciate my fellow directors who were involved and doing the good work.
Thank you, Director Fuhr. Director Blazer?
So Saturday, the Yuba-Sutter Arts Council put on an event at Ellis Lake. It was kind of an immersive art experience, you might say. But it was really good. Sue Moyer put on a pretty good presentation, a very thorough presentation on the history of Ellis Lake. One thing I got out of that is back in '78 when they drained and cleaned out the lake, there was a price tag of $13 million. That surprised me. But she explained that it took a lot to process the dirt. It had to go to certain spots. So it was a pretty expensive project. And in today's terms, I don't know what that would be, 20 million, hard to say. Anyway, moving on, Jim Shad was there from the city. And he talked about the $2.9 million Caltrans grant that they got. And all the landscaping that they're going to be able to do. To me, the most important thing is widening the sidewalks and making it safer to walk around the lake. That's going to be like 6 foot wide. Some talk of maybe even a railing. Don't know. I mean, it's in the early stages, but at least this grant is going to kind of relieve a logjam of ideas for the lake, I think. So this is going to jumpstart quite a bit of stuff. My view was that I can see that as sort of this is kind of a blue zones term probably, as the lake becoming a calming oasis of sorts. I can see kayaks, small sailboats, and obviously that'd be a good event center. So really encouraged by what's starting to happen. So we'll see how it goes.
Thank you. Director Vasquez? Nothing? I just have a couple items. First of all, I had a really good time at the All Hands Barbecue a little over a week ago. So thank you to all the staff that was involved in putting that on. Also, I want to thank Ryan for coming out to Oktoberfest in Plumas Lake on Saturday and representing Yuba Water Agency there. It looks like we had some good engagement with the community members, a lot of discussion about flood risk reduction and what the Yuba Water Agency does. And then a couple of NACWA items going on this week. So tomorrow I have an executive committee meeting. One of the things we're going to be doing is reviewing the budget for 2024. The good news is, looks like there will be no recommended membership due increase. At least that's what is being suggested by staff to the committee. And then also tomorrow or Thursday is the Sac Valley celebration at Matchbook. So I'm really looking forward to that. And
I forgot one thing. Yeah. At Ellis Lake, they also, we did an observation of the eclipse So they had provided us all with glasses, and we had a little break in the clouds. It was pretty impressive.
Okay. So with that, we will adjourn. We do have a special meeting at 10 a.m. over at the Yuba Water Agency office. So we'll see you all then.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.